roots back to slavery. Yes, I traced my roots back to slavery. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Jamaican Independence Day and also my ancestry test. So I did the AncestryDNA test, and to me the results were startling, so I want to share that with you guys so that if you are interested in going to take the test to see your ancestral makeup, you can go ahead and take the test. But I don't know what's going on with my hair. I tried this product that's supposed to make my hair curl. Mission not accomplished. It is I don't know, the Natural Hair Club avocado styling. It says curls custard. Anyways, what happened is the avocado trunks are now all over my hair, but guess what, that's not what this video is about. So let's get into the video, and I'll be telling you a little bit more about Independence Day and also my ancestry. So today Jamaica is celebrating 57 years of freedom. Moment just to clap. Anyways, it's not only Jamaica's Independence Day. Another Caribbean country is also celebrating their independence in this month. Trinidad also gained independence in August, the end of August that is, in 1962. So congrats to Trinidad as well. And if there are more countries that are celebrating in this month and had their independence in 1962, please leave it in the comment section, because these are the only two that I know of. So congrats to Jamaica, congrats to Trinidad as well. So Jamaica was a former British colony, which means predominantly the language is English, but you know we have our own dialect, which is Patois, which is what I'm speaking right now. I guess I'm speaking English with a Patois accent, I don't know. Yeah, so the makeup of the island is predominantly black, like myself. So 92% of Jamaicans are black, with another 6.1% of us being mixed, and another like 2% or so being other. And by other, I mean you can find Indians in Jamaica, you can find Chinese people in Jamaica, Japanese people in Jamaica, list anymore if I didn't say them. Obviously I can't cover everything, but I say this to say the motto of Jamaica is out of many one people, which is in essence a reflection of the amount of different ethnicities that are present in the island today. So with my curious self, I went ahead and did an AncestryDNA test to see what my makeup is. So you are going to be in for a surprise, because I was in for a surprise too. I did not know that I was such a mixture. I mean, I knew based on history, because in Jamaica we had to, you know, Caribbean history was a subject in school. I knew a little bit, but seeing it myself was an eye-opener. So let me tell you a little bit, or a lot bit, about the different countries that my ancestors were from. Alright, so if you don't know what an AncestryDNA kit is, this is what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that well. So what happens is you sign up with the company, they're called AncestryDNA, and they send you a little package in the mail like this with a tracking number. You have to put some of your DNA profile in a little tube that they send to you, which is like you just drool in a cup for a little while, and then you seal it, you shake it in the solution, and then you mail it out, making sure that you kept your tracking number and you check your email frequently for updates. So it took us like, because Simas also did it with me, so it took us like probably a month, a little bit over a month to get our results back. But when we got our results back, mine was so interesting. Simas was very predictable, but mine was really interesting because I know I was a mixture of things, but not that much. So you have to also make an online profile. I'll try to show you guys everything on this side of the screen, and then they give you a breakdown of where your DNA came from. So it's like a system where they match your profile with similar profiles, and based on the similarities they can say, yes, this is where we think that your DNA is coming from. Nothing is 100%, but most likely this is where my DNA is coming from. So if you remember, most of what they told us in Caribbean history is that slaves were taken from mostly Western Africa and some from Central Africa. So mostly Western and Central Africa. So my ethnicity estimate is 39% Cameroon, Congo, and Southern Bantu people. Benin, Togo is 37%, which are my two highest, and Ivory Coast and Ghana is 14%, Mali is 4%, Nigeria is 2%, Native American and Native America, North, Central, South is 1%, and here I see Ireland and Scotland 1%, England, Wales, and Northern Western Europe 1%, and Eastern Africa is 1%. And then based on all my DNA, based on all the countries that showed up as matches for me, it gave me a hypothetical, or it gave me most likely you are Afro-Jamaican, which I am. And so it says that most of my family most likely lived in Jamaica or in that region, which is true. And it gave like another 40,000 people who actually took this test as well, and they are also from that region. The funny thing about this test is that it matches you with people who you are probably related to. I was interested in doing this test to see where I'm from, to see what my makeup is, not where I'm from. I know I'm from Jamaica, but it goes beyond that, because to know where we are going, we have to know where we're coming from. That's a common saying. But I also wanted to do my mom's because she doesn't know her dad. So I did hers, and I found as close as a third cousin that is most likely on her father's side. So this is the goal for me right now, is figuring out who my mom's dad is. But people do the test for different reasons. So that is my ancestry makeup, the different countries that my DNA is linked to. And I think it's important to take this test because a lot of Jamaicans don't realize, or some Jamaicans, I don't want to say a lot because I don't want to hastily generalize people. Some of us will not accept that we are actually Africans, or that we actually are from African ancestry, because there's such a harsh stigma attached to being African and being black and stuff like that. And even like since I moved to the US, I remember this saying, anything when we're black no good. And I'm thinking back at it now, and I'm like, why would you say something like that? It is bound to hurt people's feelings. But I think a lot of us should try to do this test and try to connect with our African ancestry, and stop claiming that yes, I am not half white, I am partially white, Syrian or anything. Because before I did this test, my mom was saying that she heard that her dad was Syrian and this. I did my mom's test and nothing like that came up in there. But it's not our fault too. It's what we've been learning and what we've been hearing for years upon years, that yes, your father did a Indian, yes, your grandfather did a Syrian and this and that. But some of us, when we take the test, we don't see any trace of this. So I encourage people to take this test. And no, this is not a sponsored video. It's just to open up the eyes of where we're actually from. So another thing I want to talk to you guys about is when I did this test, I was looking into my life and I was crying, because if you know a little about Caribbean history, you know that there is this thing called the transatlantic slave trade, which is how a lot of us came from Africa, how a lot of our ancestors, came from Africa and ended up in the Americas, or what is now the Caribbean. So the Middle Passage, or the transatlantic slave trade, was a harsh period of just like, it was straight up survival mode, and you lived in the same place, you slept there, you eat, you piss, you doo-doo, everything that is you can think of, you pass waste, you vomit, everything. And a lot of people died on the journey. At least 15% of the slaves that were transported in the Middle Passage died. So to think that my ancestors survived that journey and ended up in Jamaica, and I am here today because they survived. That is deep, yo. Like, to think about it, one person had to survive, or two people had to survive for me to be here today on such a journey. That I completely, whoever he is or she is, I appreciate it, because without them there would be no us, right? And it is just so overwhelming to see how much of a mixture of different African countries I am. I know I would be, because the stories that we were taught is that they mixed the different African people so that they had language barriers between them, so that they couldn't plot against the slave masters and owners. So when you put two people together that don't have the same type of language, you know, it's harder for them to communicate and say, okay, let's rebel or something like that. So it's not as, it is shocking to see how many of them had to mix to make me, but I didn't expect that much, because it's like at least 9 different African countries. It's crazy, and I am truly humbled and appreciative of seeing this. Also accounting for the Native American little traces of Native American DNA in me, I can go back again to Caribbean history, that I learned that the first people that we know to inhabit Jamaica was the Taino people, or the Arawak, and later on we found out that Arawak was actually the language and the people are actually Taino. So those were like native Indians that were living there before, and then the Spanish came and conquered them, and then after the Spanish was the English, which is British people, which is why now we speak predominantly English, because the British were the last to colonize us. So in addition to figuring out the countries that my ancestors were from, I was able to also trace my roots back to slavery. Yes, I traced my roots back to slavery with the help of one of my cousins that I found on AncestryDNA on the website, because they give you your matches like I said before. I was able to find out that I'm only 7 generations removed from slavery, which is not that much if you really think about it. Yeah, so I found this guy, his name was Endeavor Anderson, and we found some old documents saying that the kid was born on the plantation, and he was indeed a slave, and it just said like black male or BM, which you know is the acronyms for those things back then, and it said the kid was a slave. And then I realized that yes, this was somebody that is directly connected to my dad's side. Now my dad's side is more organized than my mom's side. It's very easy to find information about my dad's side, but for my mom it's hard. So the guy is Endeavor Anderson from the Anderson plantation that was present in Mount Pleasant, Jamaica at the time. The kid was born in 1821. I can't remember exactly when, but I know for sure that this guy was born into slavery, and he was definitely a family member of mine, which is crazy, right? So this is more than just figuring out, you know, which country ancestors came from. I actually traced my roots back to slavery, which I think is just it's nerve-wracking, it's humbling, it's incredible that I could have figured this out just from spitting into a cup. So as I said before, it's just unbelievable. So knowing my ancestry was a heartwarming thing for me, and it made me appreciate my culture even more, and it made me appreciate Africans even more, because we are no different from them, guys. We came from the same roots. We have different branches, we ended up in different places, but we are just like them. And it is time for us to look at our fellow African brothers and sisters as one, and not as just, you know, them are African or something like that, you know. So hopefully you guys take this well. If I offended anyone, Sorry, I don't know how, but you know, you can never be completely right for everyone. But that's just my take on Ancestry. And happy Independence Day, Jamaica. We little but we talawa, and we came a long way to reach where we are today. And if you did your Ancestry test and you have your breakdown, you can feel free to leave it in the comment section.